Financial advisors and planners are always looking for help in taking their business to another level. But that's only possible if you're passionate about building your practice and have a plan to execute. Welcome to Your Practice, Your Passion with Wes Forster, CFP, registered financial planner and coach at The Perfect Practice. In this podcast, Wes provides insight from his 38 years of operating a successful financial planning practice to help you break through the ceiling you've hit and save you time and money, getting you and your practice to where you want to go. The results are an ultra-successful practice you can be proud of and few can compete against. Now, on to the show.
A good coach can push you to new levels, but you still have to do the work assigned if you want that success. Well, Wes Forster is a coach with goals and homework. I'm Patrice Sikora, and today we are speaking with Derek Schaefer. Now, Wes, tell everyone about Derek.
Well, Derek, he was introduced to me. We did a mini workshop several months ago, and so that's where he was introduced to us. And then, of course, we've got to know him because he's engaged us as a coach. Derek's been in the industry now for going on 7 years, and he's been in a private practice of his own for about 3 or 4 years now. And he comes from the banking industry. He hails from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and
that's got a hockey team, doesn't it?
They call it a hockey
quite successful team too.
But I think the elephant in the room is we don't want to discuss last night's game. But in any case, Derek has done. I'm really impressed. I really enjoy working with him, coaching him, because he's a very coachable student, let's say. And I want to give Derek a chance to maybe he can describe a little bit more about his practice, and then we can go into some questions with Derek.
All yours, Derek.
So my practice primarily before meeting Wes was focused around investments just because of my background in finances. I studied wealth management to be a trader initially in school, working kind of in that industry initially as like a co-op program through my university degree in Toronto. And eventually came back to Edmonton to work with the banking industry when I left my formal education. And then so that kind of was the core of my practice, with a little bit of insurance and other holistic sides that were maybe less influential at first, just from maybe a lack of understanding. And that's where Wes has really kind of helped grow my understanding and more of what we're doing and working forward.
I guess the big question is, why did you call Wes in the first place? What prompted you to do that?
Initial was a wholesaler that kind of connected us into that the seminar from the beginning. And I liked what Wes was saying in the sense of creating consistency within clientele and approaching it. I'm a golf pro by trade in my previous life. So everything is very meticulous, where we want to adjust little things and make sure that every little box is checked. And that's where Wes and his pilot's side, having checklists and having things where we're going to do this for every client to make sure you're not being forgotten as an individual, but we want to build it individually for you, has been quite influential. And that's what kind of gravitated me towards Wes. Now, don't kid yourself. I made Wes work for it a few times. So I made him call me a few times before I was willing to say yes. But eventually he convinced me. Took some work though.
Not that bad. So what do you see, Derek, as the value? What was did it meet your expectations in terms of what you've gotten so far as value is concerned?
The value to me was more of growing, because I think if you look at it from an educational standpoint, I would rather not be Kodak and stay in the sense of I'm going to be focused on one thing and I'm just going to beat the dead horse until something happens. I'd rather be Sony and learning and growing. And that's where my expectations were more focused around, how do I grow forwards? How do I learn more? How do I get better at the job that I want from my clients and the people around me, and offer a better service than what is currently out in the world? So that's where so far everything has met, if not exceeded, my expectations, with saying these are the things that you really need to focus on. Here's the learning that needs to be done around it. And here's how we get you from this level to the next level on top of that. So it's been great, if as a side of it, where we've been able to implement a lot of the things that Wes has been teaching and the value that he's brought. And it has brought a tremendous change just to the practice in the time that we've done it, where we've actually been able to see the results from the work that's being put in.
When did you feel you started seeing some results? How long did it take?
It took about a month of kind of getting the wheels underneath to say, get a round wheel instead of a square wheel to actually move forward. And then a month of really working on getting the next pieces implemented, getting all the paperwork done, getting the next level built on a fundamental side and a technical side. And then kind of in that third month is when we were able to apply it. And as soon as we started applying, we immediately saw the results from it.
When you first called Wes, were you nervous? Did you need some confidence building?
Yeah, I needed a little bit of hand holding. I needed someone to tell me I'm pretty. I was a little skeptical in the sense of there's a lot of people out there in the coaching industry that say they're going to take you to another level. They're going to work with you. They're going to do all this stuff. And that's where I was skeptical, because I've seen where that side has not been met and where people just want to take your money. And I'll say, we'll do all these things and we'll help you and do this, and then just walk away as soon as they're paid. So that's where I was a little skeptical just in that side. But I also think Wes has more integrity to most of those people. He also kind of has a similar persona to me. So I feel more relatable to him, which kind of helped grow that.
In terms of dollar value then too, are you pleased with that? As far as, you know, we got a fairly, it's not inexpensive. How would you speak to that?
No, like the ask is more than the industry standard by far. But I also, just looking at the results we've been able to derive from what we put in place in the learning over the short time we've done it, I would say the dollar value is almost pennies on the dollar. For you're going to pay nothing to get a lot. So even with that big ask, you're getting so much value, and just the learning, just the holistic side of everything, that like we've increased revenue substantially, that it's not even a question anymore.
Does Wes scare you?
Wes? I'm scared if he comes out to fly out and see me, he might he might come after me here and there, especially knowing that I don't like his home team.
Yeah, we have those conversations with everybody, because what we want to do is we want to hold you accountable. I think that's the more important thing in order for you to be successful. We all need to be held accountable, right?
And how do you do that? How do you do that?
How we do that? Oh, I carry a big stick.
A hockey stick.
I carry a big stick, but no, it's, you know, I think it's part of also, it's not just telling you to do it, but here's why you're doing it, you know, and if that makes sense to you, why aren't we doing it? And then of course you can't keep doing the same things you're doing now and expect different results, as we say, right? We've all heard that one before. So we talk about those things. We go, you know, they're like you said at the onset in the introduction, Patrice, about the homework. They got homework. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you need to do. I need you to write these things out. You send them to me. We're going to discuss them in the next group meeting and go through them individually. We can't go through necessarily, Derek, for example, put out his to-dos is for the next year kind of thing. And he's got a couple of assistants. So it gives him a bit of a head start for some people too, which is huge. But they need some coaching as well. So we go through that with him, and you know, these are things that you shouldn't be doing. These are things your assistants should be doing. And even if you don't have an assistant, the first thing we're going to get you to do is get an assistant. And all of these things that we're talking about here is an investment. So that what you paid the perfect practice is an investment in your practice. And if you're not investing in your practice, and I say this for everybody, not just Derek, I say this for everybody, if you're not investing in your business, don't expect it to go anywhere. It's just, now it just becomes a job is all it is. You're working for you got a corporation, you're working for that corporation is what you're doing. It's not really a business. So I think they get that. And if they don't right away, they get it eventually. And of course we talk about hitting the ceiling. So you hit the ceiling and you wonder, now, how do I get past that? I'm doing lots of good things here, but how do I get past that? You know, Patrice, you and I talked about it, you know, the fleas in the jar. How do I get past that? So I think that's the good thing here. Like I say, Derek, and we're going to talk specifically about Derek is very coachable. He executes. That was the other thing, you know, do you execute? You don't, some of this stuff, yeah, you can learn by osmosis, but most of it requires action. So what's the action? And then if I learn, and I will learn, I will, I'm everywhere, and I will know if you are doing it or not, like mom and dad. And if it's so, for example, one of the things I stress is, recording your meetings. Okay. And I want you recording your meetings, and for more than one reason. If you're doing it with a client, that's how you improve the relationship with the client. If you're doing it like in a situation like this is our game film. If you're doing whatever you're doing, if you have an opportunity to record it, you record it. And then you can go look back at it, and you can make adjustments to it, and so on. Right. So, we just, Derek talks about over a period of 3.5 months, whatever it's been for him. We're just really scratching the surface here. I want to check back with Derek at the end of his 1 year agreement with us, and hopefully we go into a second year, because we're just going to continue to make more and more improvements. It's just the sky is the limit for him, and the sky is the limit for most people, but they don't have anybody there holding their hand. So we talk about, Derek and I talk about, his conversations with the people who should be, well, at least we think should be holding him by the hand. And that might be his broker dealer, or his dealer, or MGA, whoever it might be. But they have limited time too. So it's not as pinpoint is what I'm going to do with them, and guide them along, take their hand and say, here's what we got to do next. Here's what we got to do next. And it's not in perfect order, because as we get to learn the person, just like we get to learn about our clients, we learn about this individual that we're working with here, as far as a coaching client is concerned. And then we have to adapt to get them to the next step, the next level, and the next level. But doggone it, I think it's fun, and I think it's exciting. And would you agree with that, Derek?
The Perfect Practice is the coaching organization that helps financial planners break through the ceiling they've hit and build a practice they're proud of and few can compete with, saving time and money.
Yeah, I think it's definitely exciting just seeing, I don't know, it's like a child. When you watch them grow every couple of years, you see them get bigger, or a puppy where over a year you see them grow from this little thing that you can hold in your arms to either a bigger animal that's no longer there, or let it grow. So I think it's really exciting.
Have you put more work into this than you thought you were going to have to?
No, Wes kind of scared me from the beginning that there'd be a lot of work to this. So it's met my expectations with the idea that perfection requires effort, and the effort equals the results. So from that standpoint, the effort that's been going into it, I think, has met what I kind of figured would happen after making him work for it, and having listening to what the direction that he wanted to go, or the direction that he wanted to take this plan, and just even my own personal growth. I think it's elevated me both at work and personal. So it's met that side.
Talk about that personal growth.
So the personal growth, like not even like taking away from the work side, it's helped kind of focus more of my own, like what is my life that I'm living outside compared to work, and how do I intertwine those, because they need to be in balance. And one of the first things Wes made us do was read the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, which I'm still not a fan of the book in the sense of it's really boring, but it has a lot of really good lessons in it that kind of translate to both elements. And I think that side of seeing how you can intertwine them so that your personal life balances with your work life, and making it where you're not bleeding them together, trying to make one persona at work and one persona at home, making them one and working towards that has been really beneficial in both sides of my life.
The people around you in the office, have they seen a difference?
I think they've seen a difference in the sense of just the way we present. Like I went from during COVID and all this time working at home, maybe having dressing less down, more t-shirts, kind of jeans kind of idea, to going back toward more dressy clothes, trying to present myself in that kind of light where I want to be seen as a professional. So I think from that side, they've seen it, as well as even what we're doing or the learning that's going on, and just knowing the knowledge that needs to be done to create a better plan.
So now, if we're going, let's dial the clock ahead here a little bit. What do you see happening on a go forward basis? You're at the end of your agreement with us, which is 1 year, it's 12 months. What do you see happening after that?
Well, so far you've lived up to my expectations and then surpassed them. So I can see continuing on until either you have no more information or I take your job.
Now that's the attitude
There
you're
you
looking
go.
for,
Yeah,
Wes,
yeah,
right?
I like that. Well, that's, I mean, that's, you know, it's the end result. This is what I'm saying to them is that, you know, we want to turn their practice. It's got to be an amazing practice that they're building. They need raving fans. Their clients need to be raving fans. That's what we're going to make them. I want people that work with me, either the same thing on HSI, our financial planning practice, but also the perfect practice as a coach. I want raving fans. I want to deliver to them. And as I said before too, we're scratching the surface here after 3 months. We might have gone through, if we've gone through 10% of the material, that's about it so far. And he's already, you know, seen the results from that. Now, can imagine if we just kept on going, kept on going. You know, it just gets, yeah, we just keep getting, you know, it just keeps getting better. And much like our team at HSI, as I say, who's eventually going to buy me out, their plan is to keep Wes on as their coach, as their mentor, that they're already signed into that idea. That's their plan, not my plan. That's theirs, and that's good. That's their endorsement as well. So you know, Warren's been with me for 25 years. He's the first one to step up and say, no, we want you there in some capacity to guide our guys. Now, our guys are amazing. And like we talked about it here a couple of days ago, you know, they can do 80% of everything that I can do. It's just that little tweak, those little tweaks here and there can make a big difference. And that's what's happening in Derek's life and in his practice. And yeah, I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, this isn't just about the money for me, because I don't need to do it for the money. It's I just have a blast doing this. I enjoy doing it. I truly enjoy giving Derek a hard time.
Now you say you do group calls, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Derek, do you like the group idea, or would you prefer to say, Wes, it's one-on-one, mano here?
I personally like both, in the sense of, I think group, you get a lot of, it's like when you go to a school, like in class, when you're in school or you're going to a seminar, whatever, there's a lot of things that other people ask that just don't even cross my mind, or there's things that you're just afraid to ask as a person. So that group setting kind of creates like a community feel where you don't feel bad about asking a dumb question. Trust me, I got a lot of them. So it's easier to ask them in that comfortable setting. And have everyone have that benefit, and vice versa. Like I want to learn from other people's learning as well. So the group setting has been really valuable to that. And that's even like on the individual side. I like when I can call Wes and ask a question. There was another day where I had a situation that I've just never dealt with before. And, you know, it's nice to have that access where you can call and just see what would Wes do. So it's, that value is huge, just in the sense of, if it's not something you've ever dealt with, it's kind of daunting. So it's nice knowing what that is, and probably going to bring it up in group sessions later, just from this is my experience that I learned out of this. So I think both are very beneficial.
You know, it's and I like your description of that. Because you're learning once again from other people's mistakes, or at least, you know, it's not always, not necessarily a mistake that they're making. It's just that you can make it better. It's like I said, it comes back to those little tweaks make a big difference. And or you can feel like, well, gee, I'm not the only one that's neglected that, or I didn't execute that. You know, we got to cut ourselves some slack, and because we're growing. This isn't a sprint, like we all say. Like, I'm not trying to be too clever here, or throw the cliches in there, but it's not a sprint. It is definitely a marathon, and the whole idea is to develop this thing so we have an ideal practice. So going back to my thought there about the ideal practice is one that you are so doggone proud of, and when it comes time to sell it, you're asking a premium for it. Whereas somebody else doesn't have that, that amazing practice where you got everything, all your ducks lined up, and somebody walks in, they look at it, and they're in awe how well organized you are. they look at it and then they can understand why you're going to ask a premium price for your practice over and above what the norm is in our industry. Okay. But again, too, enjoying, we actually brought a client on, one of my existing clients on one of our coaching calls, just so that they could get a real good feeling of what I'm talking about, how our clients feel about us and what we've done for them and the detail that we put into it. But, all that detail then, it translates into revenue for your organization, the planning organization, but it's a win-win situation. Hence, the Stephen Covey's book. It's a win-win. The client wins too, because you're just taking amazing care of them, and they know it. And how could anything be better than that, as far as I'm concerned? You go to bed at night, and you're saying, or you're on your way home from work, and you're just saying to yourself, man, I really did a great job today for Peggy Sue and her husband. So yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to, if I can manage expectations, that's what I want them. That's what I hope that their expectations are. Okay. So that's that. Derek, what would you add? Is there anything you would add to what we've already talked about?
I'd add the idea that life is full of red lights, green lights, and yellow lights. And there's a lot of red lights in society these days, just with events that you can't control, where you don't want to do it. And it's just not worth doing. Where I think this is a green light where you can control this, and this has a direct result in your life as a person. It has a direct result in being a practicing advisor. It just has a lot of green lights to be moving ahead. And if there is worries about that, they shouldn't have them because of what the potential is.
Well, Wes, how can potential clients reach you?
So eventually, of course, you'll be able to reach us on our website, which hasn't been published yet, but that's coming out real soon. Probably by the time you heard this podcast, the website will be there. So that'll be theperfectpractice.net. You can reach me at wes@theperfectpractice.net, or you can contact me on my cell phone at 250-215-2322.
Derek, any closing comments?
No, I think everything that needed to be said has been said, other than I hope Oilers get the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Follow this podcast.
We'll be talking about that. Yeah.
Follow this podcast to get the latest show and share with friends and colleagues. They'll be glad you did. I'm Patrice Sikora, and let's talk again later.
Thank you for listening to Your Practice, Your Passion, the show for financial planners who are passionate about taking their practice to another level. If you have any questions about topics covered during the show, visit theperfectpractice.net. Email Wes at wes@theperfectpractice.net, or give him a call at 250-215-2322. Don't forget to click the follow button below to be notified when new episodes become available.